Hello everyone. Welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, currency, and collectibles from around the globe. In today's video, we'll be exploring the Australia 10-cent coin from 1972. We'll look at its history, design, the reason why it is so interesting to collectors, and of course, its value depending on condition. So, if you have an Australian 10-cent coin from 1972 in your collection, stay tuned till the end, because you might be holding on to something worth more than just 10 cents. Let's start with the history. The Australian 10-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, the year Australia switched from the old pound, shilling, and pence system to the new decimal currency system. This was part of a major modernization of the nation's money, moving away from British-style denominations to a more international system. The 10-cent coin replaced the pre-decimal shilling. Interestingly, both coins shared the same size and weight, which helped make the transition smoother for the public. Now, the 1972 issue of the 10-cent coin is particularly notable because it was struck during a time when Australia's Royal Mint was experimenting with smaller mintages compared to the early years of decimalization. Unlike the massive mintages of the 1966 coins, which were produced in the hundreds of millions, the 1972 10-cent had a far smaller mintage. Only about 22.5 million coins were made that year, making it a lower mintage compared to other dates in the series. This lower mintage is one of the reasons collectors keep an eye out for 1972 coins. Moving on to the design, the reverse side of the 1972 Australian 10-cent coin features the striking image of a male lyrebird, designed by Stuart Devlin, who was the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. The lyrebird is one of Australia's most iconic birds, famous for its ability to mimic natural and artificial sounds. Its beautifully fanned tail makes for a very elegant coin design. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was used on Australian coins between 1966 and 1984, showing a youthful queen wearing the royal tiara. Now let's talk about what really matters to collectors. *** condition. Like most coins, the value of the 1972 10-cent coin depends heavily on its grade. If your coin has been in everyday use, showing signs of wear and scratches, it usually holds only a small premium above face value. Typically, these coins are worth anywhere from 10 cents to $1 AUD. If the details of the lyrebird and queen are still clear, and the coin shows moderate wear, you could expect around $1 to $2 AUD. These coins have only light circulation wear and retain much of their original luster. In this condition, the coin can fetch $5 to $10 AUD among collectors. Here is where values really climb. A 1972 Australian 10-cent coin in pristine uncirculated condition, with full shine and no wear, can sell for $20 to $40 AUD, and in some cases even higher depending on grading. While the 1972 issue was not officially released as a proof for general circulation, some special collector sets may include high-grade strikes. These are extremely rare and can sell for much higher values, so, if you come across one of these coins in excellent condition, don't underestimate it. It could be a small treasure in your collection. Collectors often look for coins like the 1972 10-cent for a few reasons. 1. Low mintage compared to other years. 2. Historical period in Australia's currency development. 3. The beautiful lyrebird design, which remains a favorite among collectors worldwide. 4. The fact that coins in high grade are much harder to find, since most were used heavily in circulation. All of these factors combined make it a coin worth keeping an eye out for. So, to wrap up, the 1972 Australian 10-cent coin may not make you instantly rich, but it certainly carries more value than its face worth, especially in high grades. It represents an important chapter in Australia's coinage history and is a must-have for any serious decimal coin collector. If you have one of these coins, check its condition carefully, because that's what will determine its real value. We're going to dive into the fascinating story of the Australia 10-cent coin from 1972. We'll explore its deep history, how it came into existence, the background of decimal currency in Australia, and of course, we'll reveal its true collector's value today. Oh, sit tight, because this is more than just a coin. It's a piece of Australian history in your hand. To really appreciate the 1972 Australian 10-cent coin, we need to go back to the early 1960s. Before 1966, Australia used the pre-decimal system inherited from Britain. This meant the currency was divided into pounds, shillings, and pence. For example, 1 pound equaled 20 shillings, and 1 shilling equaled 12 pence. It was a complicated system, and by the mid-20th century, it was becoming outdated, especially for an increasingly modern economy like Australia's. After years of debate, the Australian government finally decided to adopt a decimal currency system, which would be easier for trade, business, and education. This was one of the biggest financial transitions in the nation's history. On 14 February 1966, known as C-Day, Australia officially switched to dollars and cents. The 10-cent coin was introduced on this day to replace the shilling. To make the transition smoother, the coin was made the exact same size, weight, and metal composition as the shilling. This allowed vending machines and the public to adapt more easily. People were even told, asterisk, the new 10 cents is exactly the same as the old shilling. Asterisk, now let's talk about the design origins. When decimal coins were created, the government wanted them to have a distinct Australian identity. They appointed Stuart Devlin, an Australian-born goldsmith and designer, to create the images. Devlin later became famous as the father of Australia's decimal coinage. For the 10-cent coin, he chose the superb lyrebird, one of Australia's most remarkable native birds. Known for its extraordinary ability to mimic sounds, everything from other bird calls to chainsaws and camera shutters, the lyrebird was a perfect symbol of uniqueness and adaptability. The obverse side, like all Australian coins of the time, bore the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, reminding the world of Australia's link to the Commonwealth. The portrait used on the 1972 coin was created by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor whose work also appeared on postage stamps across the Commonwealth. But why is the year 1972 special? By this time, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra had already established itself after opening in 1965 to take over coin production from the Royal Mint branches in London, Sydney, and Melbourne. Early decimal years like 1966 had massive mintages, because the new coins had to replace the old currency in circulation. But as the system stabilized, the mintages began to drop. The 1972 10-cent coin had a total mintage of around 22.5 million, a relatively small number compared to the tens of millions produced in earlier years. While not the rarest decimal coin, this lower mintage makes it more collectible today. Historically, coins from the early 1970s also reflect an era of economic change in Australia. The country was adjusting to global influences. Britain was preparing to join the European Economic Community, reducing Australia's trade dependence on the UK. Domestically, inflation was starting to rise, and the coinage system had to meet the needs of a rapidly modernizing society. In short, the 1972 Australian 10-cent coin is not just spare change. It's a marker of Australia's shift to a modern economy, a showcase of national identity through design, and part of the story of how the country balanced tradition with change in the early 1970s. Now let's move into one of the most important factors that determines how much your 1972 Australian 10-cent coin ** is actually worth. ** condition and grading **. For collectors, the condition of a coin can make the difference between it being worth only face value or being worth many times more. Let's break this down step by step. Coins in this category have been used heavily in day-to-day transactions. The details of the lyrebird on the reverse side are usually worn down, the Queen's portrait may have lost sharpness, and the coin may show scratches, dents, or discoloration. These coins are the most common, since the majority of the 1972 mintage was spent and used in circulation, and this grade, you'll still see clear details of the lyrebird's tail feathers, but there will be flattening from use. The Queen's tiara and hair will show visible wear, and the surface of the coin may be dull or darkened. Despite this, the coin remains attractive and collectible, especially for beginners. This is where the coin starts to become more interesting for serious collectors. In extremely fine condition, the lyrebird's feathers are still sharp, with only minor flattening at the highest points. The Queen's facial features are mostly clear, with small areas of wear on the crown and hair. The surfaces of the coin may retain a light original shine, even though some contact marks are expected. These coins are just below uncirculated quality. They may have very slight traces of wear, visible only under close inspection, usually on the Queen's cheek or the lyrebird's feathers. The luster of the coin is mostly intact, and the strike is sharp. Collectors prize these because they look almost brand new but can still be found without too much difficulty. Now we're talking about coins that were never actually used in circulation. They might have come straight from mint bags or rolls, and while they can have some bag marks or slight imperfections from the minting process, they show full original luster. These coins are bright, shiny, and look like they just came out of the mint in 1972. Generally $20 to $40 AUD, sometimes higher depending on how sharp the strike is and how few marks it has. This is the elite level of condition. Coins in this grade are nearly flawless, with full mint brilliance, sharp detail, and virtually no marks visible even under magnification. They are rare because most coins struck in 1972 entered circulation quickly, and very few survived in perfect condition. Can easily exceed $50 AUD, and in some cases, collectors or grading companies like PCGS or NGC might give even higher premiums. While the Royal Australian Mint did not release a general circulation proof version of the 1972 10-cent coin, a small number of collector sets or special strikes may exist. These coins have mirror-like fields and frosted designs, struck with special dies. Proofs are highly desirable and command strong premiums, often much higher than standard uncirculated coins, sometimes exceeding $100 AUD or more, depending on rarity and demand. It's not just about technical wear, collectors also care about eye appeal. Things like original mint luster, shiny surfaces, strong strike, details are clear and sharp. Toning, some coins develop beautiful rainbow or golden tones over time. Lack of damage, no cleaning, scratches, or holes. Coin with strong eye appeal can sometimes sell for more than a technically higher-graded coin with poor eye appeal. This shows why condition is absolutely critical when it comes to coin collecting. The same 1972 Australian 10-cent coin could be worth only 10 cents in your pocket change, or it could be worth dozens of dollars if it's in pristine mint state.